Big up.
Yeah, welcome, guys, to HamzaTalksBall. Welcome everyone here. Guys, one second. Let me just sort out some few things. Big up everyone here, man. Big up everyone. Uh, welcome G Certified MC Protocol. Yeah,
Big up on
got me
man.
at the background. Anyone there, man? Listen, if you're replaying this or you're watching this after a few days or today or tomorrow, big up to everyone here. Listen, today's gonna be a nice talk show. We will be discussing about those few transfer dealings that we're linked with. We want to talk about Eze, Nunes. My God, all these players now we're linked with is like from nowhere.
No
Like I
idea.
can't believe it, from nowhere.
Bro, we got
Like
Doku
serious.
as well, Paqueta.
Doku, Paqueta, City are taking things seriously. Yeah.
No, seriously.
So funny, man. Like today will be a good topic, man. We want to talk about Bernardo Silva's contract, Kyle Walker signing a contract. Listen,
Um,
it can't get better than this, man. It can't get better than this, man.
Bro, it's just like every day, man. It just feels like every day we're linked with someone new. That's how it feels. It's like career mode. Yeah, every day we're just getting surprised with different things. Man, literally, check out every day. It's like check, man. So it's just like you can have this, you can have that. We're gonna give you a bit of this. We're gonna give you a bit of that. And I think we deserve it, man. Listen, we deserve it. We lost Ilka, Gundogan. We lost Riyad Mahrez. I don't feel like we replaced Sterling until now with Doku, and then obviously now it's a big opportunity for us if we're gonna try and go again. And people have said that would get weaker than last season, but I think that was the same, man. I think
Yeah,
I think we're the same.
that's what we need to talk about first. Yeah, like the main thing on the topic today is the signings that we've been linked up. We've been linked at two people. I don't know whether they're gonna get both. If we get both, Doku's signed. So we all know Doku's done. Doku's a done deal. Yeah. So let's start with Doku. Yeah. We're hoping City will probably unveil him tomorrow, I believe. Yeah. Things are signed, 5-year contract is being given. Let's talk about Doku. What do you know about Doku, guys?
Bro, this guy, so what I've seen, yeah, one of the best dribblers in Europe, right? This past weekend, he took on his man 9 times and has 100% dribble rate in the last match. Apparently, his take-ons in Europe is in the top 5 last season, just behind Vinicius and Mbappe. Now, for me, he's got a better dribble take-on rate than Saint Maximin. And I remember Saint Maximin and Walker.
Cooking people, man. Cooking.
He was cooking Saint Maximin cooked that day. So now Doku, I think, if he can start bring his dribbling, I think he will be similar to Sterling, bro. And if he's got the intelligence like Sterling to be at the back post and try and get more goals, he could be a really big threat, bro. A really big threat. So I think we've signed literally one of the best young talent wingers in the world that can play left and right wing, which is important because, Grealish, if Grealish is injured or if he can't play, we can play Doku there. If on right wing, if we're not playing Foden or Bernardo, Doku can play there. And that, bro, Haaland as well. Because literally, bro, did you see the match with Haaland this past weekend? We were against Newcastle. He wasn't really getting the ball. Nobody was.
He was not getting the ball. He was not getting the ball.
He wasn't getting the
He
ball.
wasn't getting the ball.
I know second half Phil Foden, yeah, he started stepping it up and then obviously he started creating more chances for him. But I think getting somebody fast on that wing, Doku, that can play that 1-2 touch football, he'll score even more goals.
The thing is, this guy, how old is Doku? 20? 21?
Yeah,
guys,
I think 21.
We needed a pacey winger, bro. Sometimes we pass the ball around. I need a guy behind the man. I need that quick pace. I need that fast pace. My guy Leroy Sané, Sterling. Do you see what I'm trying to say? That's what we've missed. That's what we've missed, yeah. Big time, man. To have a player like him and to get a player like Doku, and he's only 21 years old, and he's strong. He's physically strong. You can't push him out the ball. The question is, I want to ask, can he shoot?
Well, that you can do. Is he as prolific as Sane, as Sterling? I'm not gonna right now. I wouldn't say he's on that level. I know people laugh at Sterling because people might not think that Sterling was as clinical, and he did miss big chances, but Sterling was very good at getting into those positions. I think Doku will have to work on that, but I think that's something that Pep can get out of him. Do you remember Hamza when we bought in Raheem Sterling and how he used to be at Liverpool? Sterling never used to be able to finish at Liverpool, really. But he was good at dribbling. He was good at taking on his man. He reminds me a little bit of Doku, and I think Doku he'll get shifted into that Sterling kind of role of where he can take on his man. He might be able to dribble, but back post, tappings. That's
the thing within the Doku signing. To us, it makes sense. To me, he's a young guy, hungry, 21, who can fight for his position, willing to learn from others. There's no better place that you learn from Bernardo Silva. Yeah. So for me, that signing, I think he's gonna work. I really believe he's gonna work. 100%, I believe he's gonna work. There's no doubt because he's got everything. He's got everything. He's got confidence. He's played with KDB. I don't know what FC protocols here.
Yeah,
what they time in a bit.
Come through MC protocol, MCFC protocol.
If you remember how we did the Centurions and the season after, we had Walker overlapping, Sane, Sterling, the whole play. And then after that, we had ball retention wingers, Grealish and Bernardo. I think with this new system for this year, we're gonna do both. I think on the right side, Doku will be that Sterling, that fast electric thing, while Walker's overlapping. And on the left side, we're gonna be retaining the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how we play, because I don't know if you saw, but Walker now overlaps. He joins the attack and everything. So it's gonna be interesting to see what we do with Doku.
I think that's key. I think I want to see him this weekend. I'll throw him. Would you throw him in this big game coming out against Sheffield United? Would you play him this game?
No, I'd bring him off the bench. I'd bring him off the bench. I just think that we just for this match, I think we've got enough because it's just Sheffield. I think if we can put Grealish, let's say Grealish on the left, and then Haaland up front, and then right wing, that can be either Foden, because I think Bernardo Silva is going to be back. So maybe Foden goes there, and then I think we'll bring him on in the second half, maybe for Grealish. But yeah, man, I think that let him just look first. Let him have a little look in before we chuck him in. But Pep normally does. He can chuck them in. Like Kovacic, he chucked them into his debut. So who knows, man? What do you think, Hamza? Do you think he should get thrown in?
I'll bring him off a halftime, whatever it is, game to play, to come on and to cook. That's what I would say. I would bring him on completely, and I think he's a great signing. We'll see what he's got to give, and I think it's a great signing. I think City are making a fantastic youth player, a fantastic player for City. Bigger Baba. He's on the ball. I've seen him take on players. He's got the call. He's only 21, so he's only gonna get better. And I think I can't wait for his. I'm really excited. We've not had a pacey winger like that for years. We've not had. That's a threat that people don't realize. People don't realize that Mancity have not had that kind of pacey winger, and this is the first time we're getting a pacey winger. And pacey winger will work on our favor because, listen, we can break the play and we can pass very quick. Kovacic can drive forward. And I think players like KDB when they come back, Bernardo Silva when he comes back, Rodri when he comes back, these guys, if you're giving them space, they'll pick up. Even Rodri, you saw him; he was picking passes. Yeah, on the weekend, he's a very fantastic player on the ball. So I think this year, Foden plays with him. He's quick on the ball. So even in this kind of low block teams, when a team has a low block, he can run up players. That's that game. That's the team I'm looking for. So those ones that park the bus, whatever it is, bring Doku on. Let him run on them. Yeah? And get penalty.
I'm excited, man. Like I was saying, that all what we need now to make it a 10 out of 10 window for me, we get in either another winger or we bring in another midfielder. So we either get that Nunes guy or we get another winger. But because for me, that will be for me a 10 out of 10 window, because Laporte left, we brought in Gavardio. Gundogan left, we brought in Kovacic. And then Morris left, we bring in Doku. And then possibly another midfielder, another winger. Now, yes, of course, who knows? Who knows? We might miss those players. Yeah, especially Ilkay in those clutch moments. But most of those guys were getting to the end of, apart from maybe Laporte. I felt like Laporte could have stayed. But Gundogan, I thought after 1 or 2 seasons, they might try and get rid of him. And then the board will be like, they want to get another replacement. And Mahrez, I didn't really know how long City were going to really keep him on the books for. So
I think we have the whole thing wrong. I think the whole thing of we replacing players, that's not what we have never replaced players. After Aguero, who did we get? After Sane, who did we get? After, like, we don't replace players, we move on from the players. After David Silva, we didn't get any player to replace David Silva. So I think people are just worried, are overreacting on the whole thing of we have to replace Mahrez and Gundogan and everything. No, we don't. We just have to move on, like we always did.
Nah, bro, we did. In my opinion, we just replaced them. We didn't replace them maybe straight away, but we did replace them. Haaland is Aguero's replacement. Foden is meant to be David Silva's replacement. Yeah, or KDB's replacement. But Bernardo Silva. Go on, bro, go on.
If Haaland is Aguero's replacement, look at the players, look at the profiles. They're 2 different players. Because if you think about it, Haaland is more of a Kane profile, and we're actually looking for Kane before Haaland. So it shows that we're actually trying to move on from that whole false nine thing. And with Sane, after Sane, we got Ferran Torres. I don't think we actually replace players. I think we just move on. I don't. The whole thing of replacing, I don't think it's true. I think it's just us fans trying to console ourselves. I think Pep just moves on from the whole thing.
Hamza, good evening. Good evening, Certified.
Good evening, Pitchwell. Welcome, GundoLorian. We're talking about Doku, man.
Oh, that's my son.
Players that you love.
let me Hamza, let me tell you what I've been thinking about this morning. And you know when I'm thinking about stuff, so last season, Hamza, we saw Pep play this, what we call a 3-box-3 system, right? Right, 3-2-2-3, right, or 3-2-1-4, or 3-2-4-1, right? That's what we kind of do. And Hamza, we noticed very clearly that the way teams are trying to play against us, Arsenal, for example, 3 times, United once, and a couple of teams, and Brighton, they want to go man for man, right? So the way you beat this 3-box-3 system, and Inter Milan did it, right, was to go man for man, right? When you go man for man, now if you pass the ball to somebody and they're man for man, if they lose the ball, you transition. There's space. So so now we see Arteta playing 3-box-3. We see Klopp playing inverted Trent as a 3-box-3. They're all trying to copy Pep. But what is Pep doing to evolve, Hamza? Let me tell you what he's doing. When Pep is signing players like Vardio, like Doku, Jeremy Bafo Doku, okay? And he wants to sign Mateus Nunes and Eberechi Eze. Let me tell you what this guy is doing, right? He's saying, if you want to play man-to-man with me, I'm going to get players who can dribble you man-on-man. All of a sudden, you play man-to-man, and my man can beat you one-on-one, or another defender goes towards that person to cover. Guess what happens at Hamza? You create space, and you're in to go. Guardiola is evolving beyond what he did last season, which is why we're all surprised. Why is he going for Doku, who's direct and a dribbler? Why is he going for Guardiola, whose biggest asset is one-on-one defending? We saw Newcastle, 3 versus 1. Guardiola is right there. He wins the ball. Ruben Diaz, one-on-one defending. Nathan Ake, one-on-one defending. Kyle Walker, one-on-one defending at the back. People who love the challenge of 1v1. So while teams are evolving to 3-box-3, let's play invert the midfield, Guardiola is evolving to the next step completely. I keep saying it, Hamza, right? Unfortunately for rival fans, you can spend $1 billion or $3 billion on all your players. You ain't winning this shit, man. I'm sorry. Because it's not about money. It's about the genius himself, who is cooking things up year after year, time after time. Matthias Nunes is going to come in now, and we made a bid for him. Hopefully he comes. Doku is coming in. Doku is a combination of Sane, Sterling with a bit of David Silva sprinkled on top of him. Thierry Henry said, if this guy takes you on one-on-one, God help you. He's beating you one-on-one. Something different. Imagine a midfield of Nunes, De Bruyne, and Rodri. Or you throw in Bernardo Silva. And you throw in Doku to the right side. Keep Jack to the left. Keep Alvarez. Keep Erling Haaland. Then behind in that five, you have a back five of Vardy, Diaz, Stones, Walker, Rodri. Big, strong, tall lads who love to defend.
Even a Kanji if we need Gundo, man.
A Kanji, who we have, right? So all of a sudden, Hamza, with Doku coming in, maybe Nunes coming in, the whole dynamic around the season and the transfer window is changing, which is why I always say, let's be patient. There's a reason why these same clowns, Cheeky, Pep, and Ferran, and I say that in a nice way, won the sextuple with Barcelona. It's the same people, Hamza.
That's true.
The same guys who got at Sir Alex twice in the final are the same people who are at our club. The exact same people.
Yep.
The same team that won the best ever UCL final in Barcelona are the same people who are managing the growth of this club. Why should I fear? Are we going to lose games? Oh, maybe. Yes, we will. Are we going to win leagues and cups? Oh, yes, we will. So it's, I think as City fans, we just need to breathe, get a nice drink, a nice roast, and just enjoy the popcorn and let rivals freak out. When I posted Nunes coming in and Eze coming in today on my WhatsApp chat, Chelsea fans were freaking out. Man, why are you buying this guy? I'm like, it's not my fault you bought Cucurella for 75 million. You bought Enzo for 105. You bought Caicedo for 125. It's not my fault that you're being foolish with your money.
Yep.
It's not my fault.
Absolutely.
I'm getting Doku for 55. I'm getting Matthias Nunes for 45. It's not my fault.
Can you imagine Kovacic, Matthias Nunes, and Doku were cheaper than probably Caicedo?
It's sick. Hey, Hamza, let me share you a secret, right? So I know people were complaining that, oh, why are we selling Laporte for 25 million to Saudi? Let me explain something to you guys about business, right? There are things what we call principles. The same principle that City will not overpay for a player is the same principle that will sell a player for the right value. Because when you do that, Hamza, and certified, you create respect in the community. People take you for your word because they know you won't be pissed around. So when we're selling Laporte to a Saudi club for what 25-30 million, right? First of all, he's completely paid off. That's all cash profit.
Yeah.
And that's the valuation we put on him, and we agree to that club selling for that. And that's a fair business. We shake hands, we do well. Thank you very much. Good luck. And when we go for Rice and they say 105 million, we say, no, we can't pay that. When they say Cucurella, 80 million, no, we're not going to do that. It's overvalued. Walk away. It's the principle, Hamza. In business, it's about the principle. Let's shake hands and let's move on. Or let's do business. You gotta respect Shiki and Pep. Harry Kane. Right? Daniel Levy, what did he do? He said no. Didn't even pick up the phone. City won a treble. Yeah. Harry Kane would have won a treble.
Absolutely. Biggest mistake he knows. It's his biggest mistake he's ever had. And that's why players will not risk to stay at any other club and not to come to a Manchester City, because City will knock and they'll walk away. And if you don't come, you don't jump on that board, you're going to lose out, because there's no better project in the whole world than Manchester City. This is why Nunes and this Doku, apparently Doku value was going to 80 million, but because he refused, he said, I'm not going anywhere. I don't want to go to Liverpool. I don't want to go to Tottenham. I don't care. Any other club can come for me. This is a chance of a lifetime. This is the only chance that I have. Yeah. And this kind of chances don't come twice. They don't come twice to play for a club like Manchester City. With the best, greatest coach in the world, with the best players who are hungry, leaders. No team, to me, has this structure of football that you see. If I'm a player, I would drool to play with Diaz, to play with Rodri, to play with Stones, to play with Kyle Walker, Bernardo Silva, Haaland, Foden, Grealish. I would drool. I'll say, this is a chance.
Hamza, I want to talk about this comment that's right here, right? About Doku's injury record. Let's be clear, right? Let's be clear. Remember when Haaland was going to be signed, what did everybody say? His injury record.
Yeah.
What happened last season to Haaland?
2
weeks out? That was it?
Yeah.
Right? So when we talk about the institution, right? Not just the players, the institution includes the medical staff.
Yeah.
Top class medical staff who know how to manage a player. Let me share something with you, right? This idea about squad depth is actual BS. Think about the FC Barcelona team of 2010-2000. Who replaced Sergio Busquets as a sixth, Hamza? Who did? Do you remember?
Sergio Busquets, who replaced him?
Yeah.
Andor.
No, in 2011 Barcelona. Who was replacing Sergio Busquets?
Sergio Roberto, is he?
Right? No. There was literally nobody who was replacing those guys.
No, they couldn't.
Who was replacing Xavi and Iniesta? They played almost 80% of the games, right? Messi, almost 80% of the games, right?
No one.
So they had a small squad.
Yeah.
Somehow, this Pep team and his staff know how to manage players through those games. In fact, there's an video when I think it was Cheeky or someone doing a briefing about the idea. It's a Pep's assistant, the Manuel Estiate, talking about this idea about players getting tired and having a big, small squad is bullshit. That if you manage them properly, with rotation properly, and keep them fit, they actually get better because they play more games. So they understand the system, becomes their rhythm, becomes their DNA, which is why Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets are so good, because now they know the rhythm automatically, because the muscle memory is tied to those movements. And you get that because players are playing together all the time. But if you have a big squad, you have to rotate players and in and out, they lose the rhythm, they lose the communication, they don't understand each other. Pep says his hardest job is not coaching or tactics, it's keeping players happy because they haven't played. Quote, he said it. Yeah. When we think about Guardiola, listen, we need to think differently about this guy. We can't use the traditional rival fans analogy. We have to think differently and ask the question, what are they doing and why? Why is he going for ball players and ball carriers? Kovacic is a ball carrier, right? We saw him carry the ball so many times into the box. He needs to work on his final delivery, but he's a ball carrier. Guardiola is a ball carrier. Doku is a ball carrier. Nunez, we saw against United last week, is the ball carrier. Why? Because when you play 3-box-3, 1v1 is the antidote. So you need the ball carriers who can dribble to create opportunities. Yeah. The evolution of Pep. Pep version 4.
The only time.
Go on. Yes. Yeah, go on.
Now, I was going to say the only time that I remember us having a big squad was 17, 18, 18, 19. And then that was really it. You know what I'm saying? Like, them were the only seasons that we really stacked up, if you want to say, on the squad. And that was really to try and get to the point of where we are today. Now I don't feel like we need necessarily the biggest squad. It's more about a squad of quality. I think that's what last season showed. You know, last season was our most successful season we've ever had. And we didn't have a big squad last season. We didn't have a massive squad as people were saying, but we had a squad of quality. You know, we were literally last season probably a Rodri injury away from the season being bust, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, in that running period, nobody we would have been in big trouble. So that just shows you, as Gundo says, a lot of those players at Barcelona, it's the same for them. When they lose the Xavis, the Iniestas, or Messis, I'm not saying Rodri's on that level, I'm not saying, and I think even Roger would admit that. Like, I'm just saying that when you lose your important players that literally making the squad tick, it's massive. It's huge. So I'm just happy.
Do you think? Let me ask a question. Do you think when Pep did not bring anyone on against Newcastle was a sign of saying, "I need players"?
Yeah, I thought so, bro.
I don't think so. I'll tell you why I don't think so.
Go on.
Hamza, if he's going to send a message to who's sending it to the board?
Yeah, telling the board
Hamza, let me give you some background. So Hamza, let's say you and I, 30 years ago, let's say we're 55 years old and 60 years old right now, right? You and I have been playing together since we were 20-something years old. You and I and Certified own a restaurant. We own a business. You recruited me as the director of football to this club. Do you really think that I'm going to send you a message by not playing players in a game?
No,
seriously.
No, it's true. No, we work together.
Exactly.
We trust each other.
Pep only makes a change when he needs to make a change. All these players, Doku, all these guys coming in, they already knew about this stuff for months. For months, they knew it. But he only makes a change when he needs to make a change. And in the game against Newcastle, there was no change to be made. The team was in full control of that game. So why change it? The last time he changed something when he didn't need to change something was at Madrid when we lost at the Bernabeu. That game. Remember that game? Taking De Bruyne off, taking all those players off. Mistake that he made. Didn't need to make a change. Keep De Bruyne on. We win that game. We're in the final. Against Liverpool.
That one was a big one.
So again, when we think about these guys, Certified, we need to change the way we think about these guys. I always say to people, put yourself in Ferran and Chiqui's shoes and let Pep be your best friend. What would you do? They manage the stuff together. There's no surprise. These guys own a restaurant together. They eat together. They go to their houses together. There is no Eric Ten Hag versus the Glazers. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. Or Klopp versus FSG. No.
Nah, you know what it was? Yeah, I don't think he has any of it, as we've said, any animosity with the board. I was just saying that I think it's even the opposite of animosity. I think Pep has never been closer to any other board than the one that he's with now. But I do think that maybe the weekend, especially when I looked at that bench, I think it was kind of like there was nobody we could bring on. So I thought that was a sign from that, yes, we are going to need to get players. And I think the board aren't stupid. They'll know that. You know, that's why the board were trying to even get Bellingham at the start of the window. We were linked to Bellingham, Rice. We've been linked to Caicedo at points. We've been linked to Paqueta, now Nunes. So for me, I could see, because that bench on the weekend, McAtee, as much as McAtee, we've got McAtee and Palmer and all that, we're going to need a bigger squad.
I wouldn't.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was because he was sending out a sign. Pep actually doesn't make changes if the game is tight and it's high intensity. I think even if we had players to bring on, I don't think he would have made the changes. Because if you remember the game against Madrid at the Bernabeu, we had the subs he could make, but he didn't make any subs. And in the press conference, they asked him why, and he said it's because when games are tight, he doesn't want to lose the tempo, doesn't want to lose anything, so he's not going to make the changes. I think that's the main reason.
And let me ask another question about this. How many players do we need from this signing? Okay, we're hearing Doku's signing. Yeah. How many do you guys believe we need after you saw that bench? So Bernardo's coming back. KDB, we know, is out until probably December, November. Is it December or November, do you think?
I think it's even KDB.
Yeah.
I think it's even more, bro. I think he's going to be back January, February.
No, it's not that far.
God.
It's not that far.
Bloody hell.
No, it's not that far. I'm sorry, it's not that far.
I think September.
I mean, so a grade 3 hamstring tear is 3 months. That's like the worst of the worst of the worst. That's 3 months. And this is Go Google it, checking everything else, take a look at it. A grade, and I don't think it's grade. I think it's probably grade 2. A grade 3, he won't be able to walk off the field. He'd have to have stretchers, a stretcher.
Yeah, he would have been stretched. Yeah.
Right. A grade 3 is 90 days.
Yeah.
They literally have to use all kinds of stuff to fix it, and that's a tough one. It's probably a grade 2, which means it's probably going to be 6 to 8 weeks, but they're probably going to have to resuscitate him, with strengthening work, which adds another month. I think it's back by December.
Okay.
I think so. In my opinion, I think he's back by December.
So you think he's back by December, yeah?
I think so. I think he's back by December.
In terms of for me,
because let's be clear, all right? Whenever the surgery happens, that's day 1 of the healing process.
Yeah.
And surgery happened a week ago, so.
Yeah. No, I just think with the KDB one, he's done it. It's the second time that he's had this injury. It's the second time, and I remember I looked at the interview that he had before the Burnley game, and they asked him, "Are you ready? Do you feel good? Like, were you surprised that you were in the team?" And he said, "I was surprised to start." So for me, I think this is going to be longer than some people are.
It's not. So it's not going to be longer certified. It's not. This is not an ACL. This is just a hamstring tear, right? It's not. This is not an ACL. If it was ACL, we're talking 6 months. This is just a hamstring tear.
Yes, that ACL is completely like reconstructive surgery. This is more like a little tear in the muscle, and all they need to do is little shaves, make sure that it heals. It takes 4 weeks to heal. Start getting physiotherapy, running around for after.
I don't think it's going to be February or March or what. I mean, that's an ACL. We're talking about an ACL. That's not an ACL.
Yeah, ACL is out. ACL would have been March.
Yeah,
February.
ACL is 6 to 9 months. You're out. I mean, you're out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you. When you tear your ACL, I mean, you know this, Hamza, right? The ACL, the cruciate ligament in the knee between the femur and the tibia. Once that goes, yeah.
Yeah, that because that's different. They have to reconstruct. They have to take your hamstring tendon and then put it in, and then make sure they attach it, and then the blood supply has to grow, and then after a while, then you have to start moving, and then that's a completely reconstruction. In terms of in terms of this, huh?
For me, if we get Nunes, I don't think we need anybody else. I don't think we need Eze. I don't think we need.
You don't think we need Eze?
No, I don't think we do.
Bro, I agree.
You know what? If I'm Man City, I'll be honest with you. I'll go for Eze and I'll go for Nunes.
Hamza, our bench right now, as it stands, if we get Nunes, our bench is KDB, Stones, Nunes, Doku, Bernardo Silva. That's a crazy bench. So having Eze on it is.
But players will be rotating. One guy is gonna get injured. There's no way.
Pep, the whole rotation thing. I think Pep likes, like he said, he likes a small squad. So because the momentum with a small squad, it's easy to keep. It's easy to keep with a small squad.
How many are you allowed in the bench? How many are you allowed in the bench?
I'm pretty sure 9.
Yeah, 9, isn't it? See,
I think Eze. I think Eze would have a place in the squad. Just like I'm looking at the wingers, and I'm looking at the wingers, and Eze could, if he came, he could be part of the wingers. But I do agree with MCFC. It's not like I'm not worried if we don't get Eze. Even when I seen that we're linked to Eze before, I didn't even want him, bro. I'll be honest, Hamza, man. This guy wasn't better than Elise, man. He wasn't
Eze,
good.
I think he's good. He's a good player.
He's good.
Eze is very good. I think Eze is very good, but I don't think we need him. I don't see any difference he makes when he comes.
I don't even.
Look, I'll count it our players. Okay, let's go through the bench. Calvin Phillips stays or goes?
Stay, man. Stay.
Huh?
I don't know about the rest, but I'm saying stay.
You believe he's staying?
Yeah, man. KP, man. He has to stay, man. He has to stay. Try and fight for his place.
Maxino Carone is gone. He's on the bench. He's gone. He's gone to Las Palmas. Then you got Sergio Gomez. Stays or goes?
Oof.
He's staying.
This one's a difficult one, man.
Gomez is staying, man. This is going. He's staying. You know who Gomez's agent is, right?
Mm.
You know his agent?
Pep Guardiola's
Brother.
Yeah. So
he's not going anywhere, bro.
You believe Sergio Gomez stays? Oscar Bob?
I think he stays. I think
he's loaned. They're loaning those guys.
Loan, man.
Think so?
Yeah, because if you look at that bench, there's no way they're gonna waste. They're gonna put Bernardo comes back. Yeah. What about Cole Palmer?
He's going.
You think he's going?
You think he's getting sold or
he's gonna go?
Huh?
And how do you have Doku and Palmer? What are you gonna do?
Oh, it's true.
But we need wingers.
I'm already knocked you in the head. Yeah, it's true. You can't have both.
So let me explain something to you, right? Just certified. Palmer is nowhere near Doku.
I agree.
Not anywhere near. Anywhere near. Now Palmer's good in moments, but overall game is day and night.
Now I just think that, as I think Pep said it as well, it's either if a bid comes through, then yeah, I agree with Gundo. I think we'll sell him. But I think we need another winger at least. Let's say if we're going by a midfielder, I think he could be Palmer, especially in the cup games. I think I trust him enough to play in
But think about this, the certified, right? So Bernardo Silva is staying, right? We have Doku coming in. You have Jack on the left. De Bruyne's coming back. Nunez comes in. You have Rodri. You have Kovacic. Because you have Doku coming in, that opens up the channels for left and right. Who else do you want to add? It's just there's no space. Because if your starting 11 is, let's say De Bruyne. Okay, if it's Kovacic, Rodri, and Bernardo, Foden has to play. What does Foden play? He plays on the right. What does Doku play? Does he play left for Jack, or does Jack play? All of a sudden, somebody's on the bench. So all of a sudden, right, one player changes the whole matrix about your squad depth. Because Nunez, Doku could be on the bench with Oscar Bob and what's his name, and Stones or Kanji. All of a sudden, you have a problem now. You have 4 players who are first teamers on the bench just because you added 1 player on the right side in Doku.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you've got Alvarez too.
So,
are you following the logic?
Yeah.
What the club does, they find 1 player who can play multiple positions, which gives you a multiplier effect.
Yeah.
Doku comes in, all of a sudden your squad depth goes through the roof. Because now, if we start an 11 of, let's say, Grealish, Haaland, Foden, we have 2 10s of Bernardo and De Bruyne with Rodri and let's say Stones. Okay, then where does Kovacic play? Where does Doku play? Where does Foden play? All of a sudden, you have all these complexities. So I don't know. I think Palmer's gonna. I think he's gonna go. He needs game time.
I think he's going. I think he's going 100%. There's no way they're keeping Cole Palmer and Doku. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way Palmer and Doku are staying. Both of them. There's no way. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to me.
Now if you ask me between Oscar Bob and Palmer, who would I pick? I'll probably pick Palmer because he's had more experience. But yeah, it's crazy, man. And if Nunez comes in again, Hamza, then you have more problem because Nunez plays central, which is Bernardo can go wide right. So now you have Bernardo, Doku, Foden who can play wide right. If De Bruyne comes in, where did all those guys play? Now you have De Bruyne, you have Guardiola, like you have De Bruyne, you have the Kovacic, Rodri, Stones. Where does Bernardo play? Where does Foden play? Where does Doku play? Where does Palmer play? So all of a sudden your bench is now stacked because you have 1 player.
That's the thing, 100%.
Nah, 100%. I hear you guys. Like I hear like both what you guys are saying, but I just think, especially from that Super Cup performance, I think Palmer you'll get a chance. I think with Palmer, the reason why we didn't see the best of Palmer, especially last season, he was injured a lot. Then we brought him back for a cup game, then he got injured again. So I think this is now his chance to try and get some sort of squad depth. He's not going to be as maybe influential as even Rico Lewis, is to the team, but he will. Palmer, as Gundo did say before, and as I've said, he can pop up in some moments. Palmer
again. I didn't even mention Rico Lewis. Now you see the problem. So let's say we get Nunez, which probably is going to happen, right? We got Doku already coming in. Okay. Bernardo's just signed. De Bruyne's coming back. We have Kovacic. We have Jack. Julian Alvarez. Where do they all play?
Yeah.
Now you have a problem. Now you look at your bench. If we start with Grealish, Haaland, let's say Foden, okay, front three, and we have a midfield of Kovacic, Bernardo, De Bruyne, and Rodri. What happens to what happens to all the other players? What happens to Alvarez?
True.
That's true.
What happens to Doku? What happens to Mateus Nunez? Now we have 3 players on the bench who are first teamers for other teams. Now all of a sudden, your squad depth issue is resolved. What happens to Stones or Nathan Ake or Akanji?
You know what it is though, Gundo, yeah? Is the reason why I was saying about Palmer, yeah, is his last 3 finals that he played in. Yeah, he played in the under-21 Euros. He scored the winning goal in that one. He played in the Community Shield. He should have had the winning goal in that one if it wasn't for a deflected goal. And then he scored the winning goal in the Super Cup. So for me, I think Palmer is a player that in big moments can come in. Champions League, that's a different battle of fish. The Champions League's different. Even the Premier League running games, that's different. But if we're talking about FA Cup finals or League Cup finals or even the Club World Cup, I trust this guy. I trust this guy to start and to try and get into the game. I do really like Palmer. I think if he did go to Brighton or if he did go to Wolves or Newcastle or wherever he's been linked to, I do think he would be a good player for them because I do like him. But as we've said, we do have a lot of players, but he's got to fight. He's got to fight for his place. But I think Palmer, there's more chance of Palmer getting into the team than Phillips. That's from what I can see, from what I've seen so far this season. There's more of a place for someone like Palmer that's trying to fight and crawl than Phillips that is trying to fight, crawl, still trying to fight for a place, but there's still we're buying so many.
The problem with Phillips is even at his best. Let's say Phillips becomes this world beater. Where will he play? Like in the starting 11, where will he play?
I've just said the only way that Phillips can play, in my opinion, in this team is a double pivot with Rodri. That's it.
The problem certified is, in my opinion, Phillips is cooked, man. If Mateus Nunez comes in, Phillips is cooked.
Yeah, Phillips is going on loan. I think the fact that Pep doesn't even bring him on against Newcastle.
You know what Phillips should do, Hamza? You know what Phillips should do? Send him alone to Burnley to Vincent Kompany. Yeah.
Not Liverpool. If Liverpool came there and they said we're interested,
no, don't give Liverpool, mate. No way. Yeah, why do you want to give Liverpool?
Don't give him.
Am I the only one who thinks Phillips was bought by the club, not Pep, because Pep doesn't believe him?
No. Pep wanted him because of Bielsa. Bielsa actually recommended Phillips. It just hasn't panned out. Yeah, he's a Bielsa Pep kind of player. But
I think
this idea that a club will buy a player that Pep doesn't want doesn't work that way because these guys are friends. They talk. They know exactly who they want to go for.
So wait, who do you think we're signing? Who do you go? Do you think we're signing both Eze and Nunez, or do you think we're signing one?
I think Nunez is it. I think Eze will be too expensive because Palace already lost Zaha, right, to Turkey.
On free, yeah. He went on a free.
Police is injured
to October.
The only star boy they have right now is this guy. Now, granted, Eze has 2 years left on his contract, which may force the issue and he's refused to sign a contract. So come next year, he has 1 year left, and they have to make a decision. This is the issue, right? And plus the fact that we have 9 days left in window, how do they replace as a goes to City? So it's unlikely that he comes. Nunez is an easier deal to do because Wolves are in trouble financially.
If Nunez come, can you see this rumor saying about Paqueta might come January, or do you think that's it?
Nah, I think that's it, man. Bro, I think this is it because I think with the Paqueta thing, I think there's a risk of that guy being banned. Like Ivan Toney, and then we've already got, obviously, KDB should be back by then. Obviously, Bernardo signed a new deal. So I think that, and then if we've got Nunez on top of that, then yeah, for me, he's better than Eze. For me, Eze would be kind of like the new toy on the block. You know, the one that looks good, that we're saying we want, but we don't really know how he would fit in the system. Nunes, I think, is more of a safer bet. I think I watched him against Man United, and even when he plays against us, City, like, he gives us, he's decent. You know, he played well. He's a decent player. You know, but especially
the whole
yeah,
ball carrying thing, I think, just explained it all. Because if you think about it, Kovacic and Vadio, and with him now, I think yeah, that's what it is. I think it is a tactical setup.
Who used to be with me? I remember we used to talk about this Matthew Nunes for a long time when he was at Sporting, and we wanted him. What do you think about him? Like, does he fit in? Like, he can play with Kovacic so Rodri can get rested? I want to understand that part.
Hamza, if you watch, what I would advise our viewers to go and do today, City fans, go and watch the game Wolves versus United last week. Don't go watch him for Sporting. Don't go watch him. Go and watch Matheus Nunes versus United last week at the Swamp. When you watch that, make your conclusion. Do you remember how Wolves were going through the middle?
Yeah.
Every time they had the ball?
Every single time.
Do you remember those runs through the middle, breaking up United through the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember how poor Wolves' finishing was after all the chances they'd created?
Yeah.
Guess who was at the heartbeat of all that? Winning the ball, giving the ball, and running with the ball. Guess who was? Matheus Nunes. Go watch it.
I think Gundo as well. I think that if we get this Nunes guy, yeah, I really do think that this guy could break into the team, man. Like, I rate this guy highly. It depends. It all depends on if Bernardo Silva plays wing, really. But for me, this Nunes guy is a really good talent, man. He's a really, really good talent. And any Big Six team, and I mean literally any Big Six team that would get this guy, I think he improves. Including us. Because that running through the middle, that's something that we don't really have until Kovacic. Like, Kovacic for me is a little bit different because he can actually carry the ball. Now we've got two players like that can do something. Actually, to be fair, KDB can do that. But apart from KDB, and then maybe then Kovacic, and then now obviously Nunes, you know, there's definitely a pattern. We're definitely trying to get more ball carriers. So as Gundo said at the start of the show, you can see Pep is trying to evolve the system. He is trying to evolve the system.
I think one thing that impresses me about him is he can carry the ball. He can carry the ball forward. He's very comfortable on the ball. He's Portuguese. He'll play with other players. You know, playing for Wolves is different from playing for City. For City, he'll have the ball more. He'll be more confident. He'll train with the better players. He'll improve. I think. And he's only 20. Last time I used to remember, he was 22, 23. How old is he now?
I need to search that. I think maybe 25.
He must be 25 now.
You won't be too old. That's the main thing. This is a perfect time to get
24.
24. Best time to get him.
No, he's going to be 25 this 27th of August. Yeah, he's going to be in 2 days' time. 25. So he's still got 6-7 years to play. That's a young guy. Yeah, he's got a lot of experience. So to me, I think he's a player that can excel. He's 25, as you said. Now, and I think the way Kovacic plays, and he plays, considering how Kovacic plays from Province for I think he can play double pivot with Nunes to rest. Yeah, that's what I think. I think he can play Nunes and Rod and Kovacic. That's what he's looking to do.
Yeah.
And he'll probably know that if he plays players like, let's say, John Stones, Diaz, Vadio, and Akanji, someone will be able to drop there in midfield and help out.
He's a player that can play different midfield positions as well. You know, that's the thing I like about Nunes is that I just think that with the squad that we got right now, I think that this would be a much better option than, as I said, than the Eze option. Even the Paqueta option, that one, to be fair, Paqueta would have been a great addition. Don't get me wrong, that would have been good. But I just think that Nunes, there could be something that I could add, even from a defensive standpoint. I think he definitely want to watch.
And I'll tell you one thing: if it comes to be this is the signing transfer, I think they have had an incredible transfer.
100%.
Nunes for 50 million, Doku for 55 million euros. These are euros. That's 105 million. 25 or 30 million for Kovacic. Just 140.
Vadio.
Yeah, 135. And Vardy for that's 200. 200
There's another piece to this, right? So that's
Hey.
one part of the equation, Hamza, right? The other part of the equation is the sales that we made. Think about the fact that we sold Riyad Mahrez. Think about the fact that we sold Laporte 25. Think about all the academy players that we sold this year so far. And there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, your net spend is positive because you've sold players to fund players. Oh, and by the way, Hamza, we made over 300 million in prize money last year.
Yeah.
So net, your end of year balance is probably over 100 million plus in profit, even after spending all these players.
I think we get that done. I think even already we could have the best window out of every other team in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
Like, that's what I was going to ask you guys.
I think he killed. I think Doku, Nunes, Kovacic, and Vardy for an average of nearly 55 million each is a steal. When clubs are making 100 million on Caicedo, 60 million on Lavia, and all that, Arsenal's making 105 million, 65 million. This is incredible. In fact, they spent 2 or 3 players more than what we spent for 4. Like,
I've seen a comment. Obviously, big up to here to there, but I've seen a comment by Lookman as well, saying that he thinks that Eze would be a better fit because he thinks that we're lacking creators. But I just think that, bro, we've got Foden that can create. Yeah, we've got now.
It's 70 million. I don't think he fits in. He doesn't fit into that signing of that midfield that we want.
Exactly.
The whole creation thing is the myth because a lot of rivals are saying we're not drop off or everything because we don't have creators. But the only time we actually dropped off under Pep, it was in 2020, and it was not because of the creation or whatever. It was because of the defense. So we had Rodri, Fernandinho, Mendy, left back, and right back we had Walker. So we didn't have any centre back. So that's the problem. And we won the Champions League with the defense. The defense was better. So I don't think the whole creation thing is not a problem.
Yes.
As long as the defense is good, yeah.
Yes, you're 100%. Every Champions League disaster we've had is not because we can't score goals, it's because we couldn't defend. Period. That's it. You're absolutely right, brother. 100% correct.
The only one time where I thought goal scoring was a big problem or the creation was the Champions League final, the first one. Yeah, even both, if you want to say both Champions League finals we didn't create, but them are finals. So you kind of expect that.
Yeah, it's a final, man. It's a final.
The majority of times it's been knocked out. It's been because the defense. There's been somebody's done something. That's why I talked about Diaz before. I remember we were on. It was me, you, Gundo, and Hamza. I remember the last time, and I said that the impact of Diaz, it reminded me so much of Jap Stam. Yeah, the impact that Diaz has had because he's just came in and he's transformed the way that we defend now.
Certified. Let me give you an insight into my observation in Athens because I was there. I don't know if you read my article that I wrote about the game. Did you see that?
I read it. But go on, tell the viewers that they know.
So I was fortunate to be in the stadium right behind Pep. I mean, right. I could see Pep spit. That's how close I was, right? I could see the sweat on Laporte and Diaz. That's how close I was, right? I was fortunate to be in the VIP area because I wanted to experience. I wanted to see. I'm a coach. I want to learn what Pep was doing. I wanted to hear every word. And throughout the whole game, right, it wasn't Pep who was screaming and shouting from the dugout. It was Ruben Diaz. Now, Ruben Diaz wasn't on the team sheet, wasn't playing, was a sub. To the point where the UEFA fourth official gives Diaz a yellow card for talking to Kanji during a water break in the 70th minute or so. Go watch it again, right? Because Diaz goes to the touchline, not Pep, and he's telling Manu exactly what to do. And Manu's nodding his head like a schoolboy, saying, yes, I get it. During the penalty shootout, the person who was rousing the crowd up, saying, come on, right? Arms in the air, was not Pep, was not Calvin, it was Ruben Diaz. He was the one encouraging everybody. The guy is a natural leader. He's a general. We're lucky to have that guy.
Well, look, bro, when this guy came in, 23 years old, yeah, the same age as Saliba, 23 Ruben Diaz, came in, was our best defender instantly. Yeah, maybe you can argue that.
Instant, immediate effect. He transformed us.
Took us to our first ever Champions League final. And
I think we went unbeaten for a long time. Like, I think we went unbeaten for 20 games or something when we signed Diaz. Did you know that?
Bro, I remember we didn't concede. I think we didn't concede for like 12 games.
Yes.
And then obviously the next game was Liverpool, and then we conceded a penalty. Yeah, and Diaz, it wasn't even a penalty.
Ruben, the thing is with Diaz, I mean, since he came, we won the Premier League every year, and we got to three Champions League semi-finals and 2 finals in 3 years. That's crazy. And if you look at the game on Wednesday against Sevilla, we played the same team against Newcastle, but with Ruben Diaz this time, and I don't know if it was Pep adjusted the tactics or something I didn't see, but I think with Diaz just being there, just transformed the whole team. We just played better.
100%. And as Gundo was saying, it's the communication, it's the leadership that this guy has. That's why we play better with a back four. For me, any game where Diaz is not in the team sheet, it's not going to be as impactful at the back. We might still keep a clean sheet. We might still be on top of defensively, but you can see everything just clicks quicker when Diaz is there. Yeah, everything clicks a little bit more. Yeah,
so there's something Diaz does, and I want you to observe this in the next game. There's one player back there who does what we call artificial transition the best. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So if you notice many times, and Brighton do this really well, Deserbi does really well, Hamza, right? Sometimes the keeper for Brighton or Edison and Diaz will step on the ball and wait and roll the ball for almost 6 seconds under the foot. There was a game that I think Edison was playing where Edison just stood on the ball and kept waiting for almost 10 seconds, 20 seconds, holding the ball. It's what they call artificial transition. And what that means is that you're stepping on the ball, you're waiting for your teammate to get in position, and you're waiting for the opposition to jump. Right? You hear Pep talk about jump all the time. They're waiting for the opposition to jump. When they jump, somebody moves in and they will break the break. Think about Brighton away last season, how we tied that game 1-1. What happened in that game? Haaland makes a mistake because the keeper for Brighton was on the ball in artificial transition, and then Haaland jumped. And once Haaland jumped, the keeper makes a pass to the middle, and Cecil gets the ball, dribbles up, scores a goal. Right? Diaz does that as well. So these are the little details that we don't notice because we're talking in spaces or we're trolling or we're fighting and arguing. But when you watch the game, these are the little details that coaches work on that you see in the game. So I'm always looking for these little things of what they do. How do they build up? Who's on the ball? Is there artificial transition? In the artificial transition, who's moving in? Does Foden drop to the number 10 to receive the ball from Edison? Right? All these little things. In the game on Saturday, there was a moment where in artificial transition, Edison has the ball, right? And he pings the ball to Alvarez, but Alvarez is not free. And then Alvarez puts his hand up like, Edison, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
So everything is designed and played. It's a fascinating watch.
It is
incredible.
We're lucky to have the people we did. And I just seen another comment from someone saying that apparently we're overhyping Nunes, you know what I'm saying? But because apparently Nunes doesn't get enough GNA, but You know, this is the thing. People think that every time it's about GNA, it's about
how much GNA did
Oh,
Busquets
yeah.
have?
Huge.
What was Xavi's GNA?
Bro,
That's good.
I don't even
No,
know.
seriously, Certified. This is why fans need to stop acting like trolls and actually look at the game from a tactic. What's Xavi's GNA?
Nobody even knows.
What's Iniesta's GNA? What's Busquets' GNA?
It's a joke. Joke.
Joke, man.
Kind of. This is what I said. You know, this is knowledge in football. Seen football for a long time that people like Zidane would have been disrespecting this era, like the GNA.
Yeah.
Or are you joking?
Yeah.
Huh?
Bro, Clarence Seedorf would have been people would have called Seedorf.
My God, there are cooked players like that.
Oh, I don't even know who they would have called Seedorf. They would have compared them to probably. I don't even know. That's how bad it is. Probably Douglas Luiz. They'll probably think, oh yeah, you know, Seedorf's just
yeah. They would have done that. Yeah.
Big up, Sam.
Big up Sam, and but yeah, man. But no, people were just disrespecting guys without GA, man. So I think, as we've been saying, I think our whole team, ever since we've just had this new kind of system, players that maybe they're not known for their GA really, apart from there's Haaland, Alvarez, Foden maybe, but even Grealish, since we've had the Grealishes and
even Certified. Let's go back to the team that got 99 points to win the league in 1920, Liverpool. What was the GA of their midfield?
One of the worst, probably one of the worst in the league.
But they got 99 points.
Yep.
They blew us away, right?
Yep.
Because they were efficient. They knew what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and by whom to do it. We need, we need to stop looking at football with this idea that if it's not GNA, it's nothing. No. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, that's what's required. Liverpool, that's why, Hamza, with all the teams out there, there's only one team I really, really respect. And I know you don't like hearing this. It's Liverpool.
Yeah.
No, I agree, bro. I agree.
Right? Because they're the only ones who have proven to me that they can get 96 plus points in a season and chase us down. They're the only ones. And they've done it twice. Actually, 3 times. 90 plus points. 3 times. Unlucky to win it, lose it by 1 point twice.
Yeah, they took us to the end.
So respect to them. I'm not afraid of Arsenal. Please. I don't. I'm sorry. United, forget about it. Chelsea, they're just a basket case. You know what we call money misroad, with all due respect. $135 million on Caicedo. For what? 100 million for Cucurella. For what?
For music. For
Jackson. What has he done? Enzo Fernandez, 1 goal since January. 105 million. What are we talking about here, guys?
Yeah, that's all people talk about, man. Like, the thing is this, people got to realize that we've got many other players that are going to get GA. So that right now we don't need that. Yeah, we don't need everybody. We don't need players. And even if players don't have the best GA, there's other things that they bring to the table. Yeah, I remember when Cancelo left. Cancelo, listen, that guy was one of the best assists from fullback. He creating that from fullback. He was a little bit like Trent when it came to the fullback creativity. I'd still say Trent was better than Cancelo, but he was similar, like the same. But Cancelo, what did he do for us? I remember exactly that semi-final Champions League, that second goal that we conceded, that we got knocked out in 2022 game. Yeah, that was because of him and Zinchenko, 2 players that we don't have anymore. Ake Akanji, Stones, Gavardio, those kind of players that can win their one-on-ones, their one-on-one duels that's actually astute. That's what we need. And we need players that can do what we need them to do. So this whole thing about GA this year, we don't need that as much. Where the GA is with Haaland. That's where the GA is. It's with Alvarez. It's with Foden. Yeah. Even Kovacic might start adding goals. Rodri, he's taken a lot more. Even Rodri's shown up in front of goal. So KDB. So there's many players, man. There's many players. Bernardo.
When we got Sterling from Liverpool, who thought he would be, I think, the 2nd highest goal scorer under Pep ever? Nobody thought that. So I'm not worried about GA.
No, I'm not worried.
So in terms of finishing off about the signing, so would you happy with the signing of those 4 signing of Doku, Nunes, Kovacic, and thing. Is that enough?
That's enough.
Are you
Hamza.
happy to go with that as a score?
100%. That's enough.
That's a more than you believe thing. That's
four, Hamza. That's 4 fresh players. I mean, Hamza, you have to think about Guardiola himself, right? And the board are really smart, right? To keep this man at the club beyond the next 2 years.
Yeah.
You need to give the mad professor a project.
Another project to build.
Exactly.
Yeah. And things like that. Oh, exactly. In terms of, I think the other thing is, I just want to talk about the news about Bernardo Silva's contract. I want to hear about what news. Is it true about release clause? What's going on? I'm hearing this wrong.
So Hamza, let me, if you don't mind, I want to talk about this because I have a vested interest in this transaction, and I'll explain why. A year or two ago, I kept saying that Bernardo Silva was not going to go anywhere. I got slandered for it. Certified, you know how much hate I've got for this, right? From our own fan base, who said, no, he's leaving. How do you know? You don't know anything. You don't live in Manchester. You don't know what's going on. I'm like, no. Here's the reason why I knew he was not going to leave. Okay, number one, he's one of the most important players to the manager. One of the most important players. Which is why when they asked him about him, he said, it's my dream, it's in my heart for Bernardo to stay. Number two, Bernardo was paid half of what Jack Grealish is on. Half. Okay. Jack was on 300, Bernardo was on 120, 140 or so. Calvin earned more than Bernardo. Bernardo spent 5 or 6 years with the club. How many titles? In 18-19, he was a player of the season. How is Bernardo on less money than Jack Grealish and Calvin Phillips? If I'm his agent, I'm stirring the pot to make sure that everybody knows that he wants to leave, even if he doesn't want to leave, so I can create the atmosphere to get him more money. I said from day one with Bernardo Silva, City, make him an offer he cannot refuse. Go watch The Godfather, you know what that means. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. And they did. Big bonus, big money, new contract, new years. And guess what? If the release clause is true, I guarantee you, Hamza, that clause comes with one condition. You know the condition?
No.
This release clause only applies to one club and one club alone. Guess which club is going to be?
Barcelona.
No.
No, Benfica. So he's got a release clause.
I don't know if he's had a release clause, but if the release clause is true, my argument would be that release clause applies to one club and one club alone. Benfica. You know why, Hamza? Because his dream, his heart dream, is to go back to Benfica.
Yeah.
It's the club of his life. Right? He wants to go back to Benfica. And in 2 or 3 years' time, he's going to be 31 years old, 32 years old. And the release clause allows Benfica to afford him to go back there. So all City have to do is say, we'll give you the release clause of 35, whatever it is, million. But on one condition, it's for Benfica.
Yeah.
Anybody else, they have to pay market value. Bernardo will shake hands, agree with that, sign a contract, and we move. So don't be surprised if you hear coming out in the next few days that the release clause is there, but it's for one club only, which is Benfica.
Nobody so if Benfica come in next year, they want him for 35 million. That means
he has to finish the contract. Oh, he has to finish the year before the contract and get him, unless he signs a new one.
No, I do think there is a release clause. There's 100% probably a release clause just because.
And it's not. That's right. It is not Barcelona. What's going to do Barcelona?
Now you know what it is, Gundo. Yeah, I think with this release clause, I think it's active. Maybe either by next season or in 2 seasons. But I do think that Bernardo, he's wanted to go. Like not necessarily might have wanted to go, but he's been open to go for a while. So it's one of those things that if the money, if the right
Certified. Let me break. Certified. That's not true. Certified. All that story he wants to go. It's all bullshit.
Bro, I don't know.
Let me explain why. Again, don't listen to these ITKs, these clowns. I'm sorry, right? Let me explain why. If Bernardo Silva really wanted to go, he'll be gone. He wants a better deal, getting paid. It's not about the weather or his misses. Make him an offer he cannot refuse. Bernardo Silva cannot be on 130K a week when Jack Grealish is on 300. It's not possible, Certified. If you're his agent, what are you going to do? Accept that? No. make him an offer he cannot refuse. And they did that, which is why he's staying.
You know what it is with me though, Gundo? It's just like when loads of people have asked, loads of reporters have asked Bernardo, like, are you gonna sign? Like before this, are you gonna stay? Are you gonna? And he's always, and he never was like 100% like, yes, yeah, this is my club.
He's not gonna say yes, Hamza. Why is he gonna say yes when I'm getting 150 a week?
But he's always been like this.
If I say yes, certified, right? Then where's the leverage? There is no leverage.
That's true for the leverage, but it's just like, oh yeah, you know. Well,
again, we need to stop. With all due respect, we need to stop thinking like the ordinary fan and think about the politics of the game and what you need to do to get your position. Of course, he's going to say, I want to leave. Oh, I want to go here. And why? Because you're paying me 130K a week. Grealish is getting 300. What has he done? Calvin's getting 225. Why am I getting half of what Jack is getting when I've done more for the club? Of course, I'm going to say I want to leave. It's about leverage. If he says, oh, I'm going to stay, then why are the club bothering? Let him be there. Stay there. How much does Edison get? What, 90K? 110? Diaz gets how much?
Diaz got a new contract straight after the following season. So I'm not sure about that one. But
again, I want to be. Again, the reason why I'm standing so strong with this is because I called this over a year and a half ago. I told everybody he is not going anywhere. It's about the money. It's about the deal on the table. Make him an offer he cannot refuse and keep that guy, because that guy is worth 3 or 4 players by himself alone. You're paying him half of Jack? No, give me a break.
Nah, if it says the money as I agree, that could have definitely been a factor. Then that's why he might have wanted to leave, and now we've gave him the offer that he can't refuse. So now he's going to stay. But this, for me, Bernardo, as you said, it was crucial, man. We had to keep him. For me, Bernardo's one of these players that there's not really too many people in the market that can really replace him, if that makes sense. It's not really midfielders that can play wing. His technical ability, what he can do off the ball, his running. I know people always might think that running is every player should be running, every player should run, but his pressing is unbelievable. I think he's probably our best presser, apart from maybe Alvarez. He's unreal. He's unreal. So I'm happy that we gave him that deal, man. He deserves it. He deserves it. But yeah, man. Well, MCFC, what did you want to say, man? You were trying to speak before. MCFC protocol. No, he's not there. But yeah, man. I just think we gave Bernardo an offer he can't refuse, and now we just got to go into the season. We've got another.
My bad. I'm here. I wanted to say, I think the whole Benfica thing makes sense, because I don't think we can reject a 60 million offer from PSG and put a 30 million release clause on his contract. That doesn't make any sense. So I think he has to do his time at Mancity, then Benfica makes sense.
No. Yo, wait up.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The whole Paqueta thing. Why was Paqueta coming to us? What was he gonna do? Because I don't understand him as a player in terms of what he does or what he offers. Like, with Nunes, I know what he's bringing, but with him, I don't know what he's gonna bring. So why were we even getting him?
Which player? Which player?
Paqueta.
Search, but I have to leave.
I have to leave.
I have to leave.
Right. Big up Gundo. Your MCFC Pro. I put you mic on mute because it's background noise. But yeah, man. Now this is Paqueta. I think what he would have gave us is his one-touch football is something that I think that is probably his best attribute. His technical kind of like being on the ball control, protecting the ball. I think those kind of games where we need to speed up the ball, because obviously the balls moves faster than any footballer. And I think games like that is where Paqueta would have been good, where we need to speed things up a little bit, or there's certain moves where we just need those certain combinations. That's what I would say. Paqueta is more of a, for me, combination kind of player, link up kind of player. That's what Paqueta would have gave us. But is it going to be a big, like something that we'll regret? I don't think so, man. I think that, listen, it is unfortunate what happened with the betting thing. If the betting thing was never there, I do think we would have got him. I do think that deal was done. Yeah, to some sort of degree, that deal was probably done. I know someone's just said in the chat, someone asking, can we touch on the fact about missing a set-piece taker? And obviously Paqueta wasn't really a set-piece taker, but we've got set-piece taker, so he wouldn't have came in for set pieces. What he would have came in for me would be those little combination plays that I think that we are accustomed to. I think he would have suited that. But and I do think he's also got a good shot on him as well. He's got a good shot on him. You know, passing. He's good at short passes at least. He's a good at short passing. Long passes, I'm not too sure, but he does have a good eye for goal in that box. So that's something that maybe from a midfielder that we could have brought in, similar to Gundogan with the goals. But I just think that we've got a good enough team. We've got a good enough team, so I'm happy, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get it. He is actually good with the quick football, so it makes sense. So with the signings we made, how confident are you for the Champions League and the Premier League? Because I think the Premier League, I think we're gonna walk the Premier League. Because here's the thing, we're not starting slow. I think after the game of Newcastle, I think just gave me a different perspective. Because if it happened last season, I think would have drew that game or would have lost the game. But how we actually played, and it's not about the results, how we actually played. So it shows that we're gonna be strong, even in the start of the season. So I think if Arsenal don't drop a lot of points, then yeah, it might be a title race. But if they drop a lot of points, I think we want to walk it. And for the Champions League, I don't see many teams beating us in the Champions League. So I think, I don't know, how confident are you for both of them?
I think the Premier League is definitely, I agree with you. I think the Premier League will be easier than the Champions League. I think the Premier League, when I look at the Premier League this season, there's only one team that screams out to me as being potential competition. And that's obviously Arsenal. And now us Man City, we've been in like obviously few title races in the past few years, yeah. But the last time I remember us running away with the league was not really too long ago. Yeah, that was 2021. Yeah, that season 2021. After Christmas, we went on a little run. We ended up walking that league. So I think we don't need to be at our best to win the league. That might come back to bite me. That might be, something that will come back to haunt us. But I don't think we need to be at our best to win the league. But the Champions League, I do think we will have to be at our best. That will definitely be a lot harder. It's at Wembley, so I think that, maybe, especially it being here, Pep might want to go back to Wembley because he's got a lot of history at Wembley, Pep. So it's obviously an attractive venue as well. Look, listen, the Champions League, you want to get, it doesn't matter where it is, but you want this one, I think it will be very, very, very competitive, man. I know obviously right now, nobody really is necessarily might stand out, but just keep an eye on Bayern Munich. I think it'll be us.
They're dangerous. They're dangerous.
Yeah, man. Bayern Munich, Man City in that final, or Man City against, you can never count out Real Madrid, but Man City, I think, will definitely be there. And then it's just who.
The thing is, you see, Arsenal, I think Arsenal's approach to this league is very naive because, when I talk with the fans of the Arsenal fans, it's as if they guarantee that they'll do everything they did last season. They speak as if the reason they didn't win the league last season was Saliba. So now that they have a backup of Saliba, they're gonna do the same thing, except once Saliba gets injured, they have a replacement. That's not how it works. I think teams will prepare different for Arsenal, and Arsenal will drop a lot of points. If Arsenal drops a lot of points before December, because the way we're starting, it shows that we're not gonna start slow. So if Arsenal drops, if we are like 10 points ahead by Jan, I think we're gonna walk the league. I don't see, because Arsenal can't do the whole 14 games, winning 14 games in a row. I don't see them doing it. So I think, yeah, we might do that. And for the Champions League, Bayern is good, but the problem is with Bayern, the reason we'll always beat Bayern whenever we play, even in the preseason game, it's because Bayern doesn't know how to play against teams that have the position of the ball. So usually they play against teams that defend against them. That with us, we have the ball and they have to do the defending, and that's why we'll always beat them. But it will be a very interesting game. And Madrid, I don't know about Madrid. I'm confident we can get the Champions League and the Premier League this season. I think we're gonna get the Premier League, Champions League, and the Carabao Cup.
I think we can do all of them. I think we can. I think we can claim all of them. I think it's possible. Listen, Arsenal already showing red flags, signs already, the way that they're grinding results. To them, they're happy. But when you need to play twice a week, it's going to hurt them badly. I'm telling you, Saliba can't maintain that pressure. Yeah, he can't maintain that pressure. Big up, Said. So we'll see. We'll see what Arsenal's made of, But I just want to get the signings done, and then hopefully we can move on, because Sheffield United, and they'll go Fulham, and then there's a break, is it?
Yeah, there's a break soon. So, for me, as I see another question by here to there as well. I don't think Newcastle will be a bigger threat than Arsenal. I think if us Man City are in a title race with them, I think I can never see that. I can only see it with, as I said, one team, and that's just because the Premier League, to make that big of a jump, I think it's too soon for them. But as we said as Hamza's just said, we've got a few games before the international break, and the games that we've got, really, we should be winning those. And I think MCFC Protocol said before about how we've started well, which I agree. We haven't really started so well for it feels like for a while. It feels for a while. Where we
the only time we started well, it wasn't the 2018 season when we did the 100 points. That's the only season, and also the season after. But we had a rough patch. So if this season we carry on getting the results, I think we're gonna have a good season. And the whole thing of Alvarez, do you think Alvarez will be a starter this season, or he's just coming in for now because KDB is injured?
I think. Go on, Hamza, because you were
Alvarez is key this season. He's gonna play more games than ever before. Alvarez will play. You can see the way he was playing. He was so well against Newcastle. I think he was brilliant. I think it was fantastic, man.
Yeah,
him and Foden were cooking. Every time they got the ball, they were attacking. One side, one guy dropped in this. They did not know where Alvarez was. Alvarez was on right. This is why he's dangerous. He was playing coming on the left, sometimes coming on the right, sometimes running in the middle. There's one ball they played, and they were so lucky. It hit him on his shin. Remember? And he was running. He was through on goal because he would have set it up. And he's a very clever guy. He knows when to set up. He's got great range of passing. People think it's luck, but it's not luck. And
I think Alvarez will be used for the Gundo clutch goals, because Alvarez had clutch performances in the World Cup. Even the goal against Fulham last season, that beautiful goal against Fulham that made it 2-1. That was a clutch goal because we needed it. Same thing against Newcastle. I think Alvarez is very clutch. So if he can keep it up for the whole season, I think we'll be fine.
No, I think he'll start. Just because I just think with Alvarez, I think we're trying to fit him in. I think Pep saw last season that Alvarez, literally didn't even have. I think I'm trying to think how many starts he had overall the whole season. I think it's like 23. Like, and just to get the goals and assists that he did, I think he had more GA than starts last season. So I think Pep definitely sees Alvarez as somebody that you just can't leave out the team. He's going to try and fit him in somehow. And we are going to try and find a way to get him in the team. And I think the fact that he's played pretty much every single game he's been involved in, bar the Super Cup, definitely you can see there's definitely something there with Alvarez. So that should be good.
Yeah. And that's it for the show today, man. Big up everyone for joining us, man.
Big up, man.
Really appreciate it. It's been fantastic. Hopefully we can get the signings in. Doku's going to be confirmed this year. And then now let's concentrate on the Nunes one. I hope we can get Eze and Nunes. Bloody hell.
We can celebrate again.
Eating good. I am eating good. So big up everyone, man. Like and subscribe. I appreciate all your support. I just want to say, listen, shout out to G Certified and MCFC Protocol. I'll let you guys give them a shout out where they can find you guys.
Yeah, man. Me on Twitter, man. You guys know, man. G Certified. That's right.
Big up G Certified. Always on my thing. I will be doing this frequent, hopefully. And MCFC, I really appreciate it. Where can they find you, MCFC?
On Twitter, it's MCFC Protocol on Twitter.
Yeah, big up MCFC Protocol, man. Get Adam, guys, man.
And lastly, before we go, like Laporte leaving, last 4 minutes, we'll just talk about quickly Laporte leaving, man. Sad day. What do you think?
Bro, man, that guy, man. I think the one thing that will describe him is just that 21-22 season and playing the last games with an injury. And then sending a statement after the last game saying that he's gonna have, I think he got surgery or he's injured and he'll be back after like a few weeks. I think that just sums up Laporte, man. As much as people you can rate him as a player or not, something that I always loved about Laporte is he always gave everything he had on that pitch. He genuinely
What game do you remember him?
For me, one game. Oof. That's a good question, Hamza. You got me, man.
Yeah. Listen, I remember when he scored and he did that kind of like, what game was it?
Maybe the League Cup final. The League Cup final. When he scored.
Yeah, absolutely.
2020, 2021. I think him scoring in a final, he got that moment because it was the winning goal. It was at Wembley. I know there was only a few thousand fans because of COVID, but I feel like he got his moment that he deserves. But maybe even actually the last ditch tackle against Leeds in the running, the title race with Liverpool in 21-22. Because if we lost that game, we would have lost the league. He came in from behind, last ditch tackle, and saved us that day. So for me, that's my memorable moment.
He's won everything as a player, like for so far for City. Listen, he's won multiple league titles. Where guys retired with the Champions League. He's won FA Cup. He's won everything, I think. And he's now moved on to what's the name? Is he on? Who's he playing for now?
He's went to a team in Saudi.
Yeah, there's a team Al Nassr, I think. Yeah, he's going to Al Nassr.
Bro, he's playing with Ronaldo and Mane.
Yeah, he's going to Al Nassr, I believe. And
he's gone from Haaland, De Bruyne, Silva to now Ronaldo and Mane.
He's won 5 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 3 Carling Cups, 1 Community Shield, Champions League, and a Super Cup and UEFA Nations League.
Bro,
as a player, you dream to retire with those kind of trophies. He'll be a legend at football club, no matter what he does. Absolutely fantastic. And for what he's done, he's achieved everything in football. What else does he need to achieve? He's one of the best league in the world.
I think he's even won 4, bro. I think he's even won 4 League Cups. He might have won even 4.
3 EFL I've got here. 3 EFL, 5 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups.
Man, because I thought Because we won the League Cup, didn't we, in 17, 18, 19.
Look at this fraud. Saeed is saying that Arsenal going to win the league.
20,
Make sure you turn up every day to or remember this. Laporte 18 when he got assist in 1 week. I remember him badly when he got injured against the Wolves game.
Yeah.
And his injury is the reason why we lost the league. And that's how important of a player he was.
Yeah,
so big up everyone, man. Everyone like and subscribe, man. Listen, we see you often in social media. We'll be following this news. Big up every single person. We'll be doing this often. I'm sorry we haven't done it quite often, but we'll do it often. Big up everyone, man. Shout out to everyone here.
Every single one.
Big up.
Love for the love, man.
Love, guys.